Cena Soriano. Okay? Alright, boys and girls, before I get into introductions and everything, I just want to let you aware of one thing. When you are coming down the hallway to PE, I want you to do your best not to put your hands on the wall. Okay? That's a spot where kids touch all the time. There's germs on there. I don't want anybody to be spreading germs. So if you walk down the hallway to PE, I want your hands to be at your side. Okay? You're always going to have your mask up above your nose like it is right now. Okay? When you come to PE, you're always going to have your mask on at all times. Boys and girls, I'm going to answer your questions at the end. Okay? Save your questions for the end. You're always going to have your mask on in PE. Okay? When you get to PE and you have your masks on, you're going to be sitting down at the poly spot. Boys and girls, please don't slap your hands on the floor because other people can't hear what I'm saying if you're doing that, right? I believe that your teachers have you sit crisscross applesauce, right? Yeah. Go ahead and cross your legs and put your hands in the basket. Okay. When you come to PE, you're going to be sitting at poly spots when you first come in, okay? I'm going to be taking an attendance. Attendance is, it tells me who's here and who is not here. When you are sitting down, once you're sitting down, you're going to be 12 feet apart. That's a lot of space. Some days, I'm going to tell you it's okay for you to take your mask down. If I tell you it's okay to take your mask down, you may remove your mask if I tell you you can. You don't have to remove your mask if mom and dad told you to keep that mask on. But when you are 12 feet apart, it is safe for us to pull our mask down. Okay? I'm more than 12 feet away from you right now. I'm going to be talking a lot today, so I'm going to have my mask down. If I walk closer to you, what am I going to do with my mask? I'm going to put my mask back on. Just like if you boys and girls are moving someplace else, I'm always going to say to you, make sure your mask is above your nose before you move. Okay? Does everybody understand that? Now, I'm going to be grabbing something over at my desk. So I'm going to be walking by some people. So I'm going to put my mask back on. And I'm going to come over to my desk over here. I'm going to grab our class list so I know who is here and who is not here. When I come back over here, you can see now that I'm more than 12 feet away from you, so I'm going to take my mask down. Now, I'm going to take attendance right now. That means I'm going to call out students' name. The only person that should say anything is the person whose name I call out. All you're going to say is, here, if you're here. Okay? I'm going to start off with Mrs. Shutt's class. So, first person, Sophia. When you say here, I want you to raise your hand so I can get a name with a face, okay? Sophia. Addison. You shouldn't raise your hand right now because your name's not Addison. What's your name, son? Okay, wait until I call your name out, okay? Where's Addison? Hi, Addison. Henry. Hi, Henry. Ezekiel. Remote learner? Okay. Taylor. Yeah. Taylor. Is it Alistair? Alistair?
Yeah, that's Alistair.
Alistair, did I say that correctly?
Yeah.
Alistair?
Yeah.
Okay, super. Aries. Aries, Fauci. Carly. Carly Ferris.
Yeah.
Hi, Carly. Christopher. You know Christopher? Corey. Braylon. Tatum. Ava. Hi, Ava. this, I've already sent them the code. So when they begin working with you with the laptops or with the iPads, when they start to work with you with those, you're going to put those codes in and you'll be able to get into my classroom. Okay? You'll understand that further on down the road. It's not something you boys and girls have to really worry about right now. Okay? But if you would, I would rather that you were not playing with those papers right now. Just leave those papers down on the floor. Make sure you're sitting crisscross and your hands are in the basket. You should not be touching the paper right now. Put your paper down, son, on the floor. There you go, perfect. Awesome. I want everybody's attention to be up here, okay? Mr. Loriano is going to do a lot of talking today. I have to tell you what the rules of PE are going to be and how we're going to be able to participate in PE this year. Yes. Boys and girls, my number one rule is this. If you need to talk, I ask that you don't shout out. Just like in your classroom, your teacher wants you to raise your hand. If you want to speak here, I want you to raise your hand. I don't want you to just shout out. Because then people aren't hearing the directions that I'm giving them. Okay? Should we be making noises right now? No. Yes, honey. You have a question?
So, when is this going to be open?
We're going to be in here for a little while today, okay? I want you to hold your questions for the end. I'm going to go over some stuff right now that you boys and girls need to hear, okay? Like I was saying, my name is Mr. Loriano. I am the PE teacher. When you come into class each day, there are going to be poly spots on the floor. Poly spots are these colored circles or squares, and that's where you're going to sit. The reason why you're going to be sitting at those spots is because those poly spots are 12 feet apart. In PE, you have to be 12 feet apart when you're in here. You have a question? Awesome. Okay, boys and girls, we got to get through some of this stuff. So hold your questions until the end, or your comments. Is this an emergency?
No.
Can it wait? Okay, let's wait, okay? I have to move forward with this, okay? So, you're always going to sit down on a poly spot. Do you have to sit on the same poly spot each time you come in? No. You can pick a different one. What you can't do is move the poly spots because they are 12 feet apart. That's how far you should be apart when you're in PE, okay? I'm going over this lesson with you boys and girls today, and every other class in the school has had this lesson. So we're all going by the same set of rules, okay? Now, for you boys and girls, you don't have to worry about changing your clothes for PE, but you do have to know a few things. When you come to school on days that you have PE, you have to have sneakers on that either tie or Velcro. We can't wear boots in here. We can't wear sandals or flip-flops or slides. No boots and no dress shoes. If you look down at the floor where you're sitting right now, this floor is absolutely brand new. They just put it in over the summer. So we have to do our best to take very good care of this floor so that it doesn't get marks on it. So I want the boys and girls that come to PE to always have on sneakers that either tie or Velcro. Okay? Now, some days when we come to PE, we might go outside. If we go outside, I want you boys and girls to bring in a sweatshirt or a long sleeve shirt in your backpack. When you come to PE, you can bring that sweatshirt or that long sleeve shirt down to PE. If we're going outside, you can put it on. If we're not going outside, you can put it off to the side and you can take it back to the room at the end of class. The next thing that you need to know about PE is what about drinking water? Okay? down closed. Because of things that are going on right now, we aren't allowed to use those water fountains. So you're probably thinking, well, Mr. Loriano, if we can't use the water fountain, how are we going to get a drink? Well, this is how we're going to get a drink. You're going to have your own water bottle. So I don't care if it's a regular water bottle that you've used before and you take a magic marker, or mom or dad takes a magic marker and they write your name on the water bottle. All we have to make sure that it does is that it has a top that closes. When we come into the gym, we're going to set it off to the side over there, and then you'll sit on your poly spot. If you need a drink, you have to raise your hand to ask if you can get a drink. If I'm in the middle of teaching a lesson, we aren't going to be able to get a drink at that point in time. I will say to you, we're going to have to wait until after we're done, and then I will allow you to get a drink. Okay? So, when you get home today, you can remind mom and dad, I need to bring a water bottle with my first and last name on the water bottle, and one that closes with a top on it, so that I can have it for my PE days. Okay? Now, around the school, where the water fountains are, there is a spot where you can put your water jug underneath, and the water will pour into your water jug. That is how you're going to be able to fill up your water jugs while you're at school. Okay? So, the things that we need for PE, sneakers that tie or Velcro. Oh, honey, please don't throw those poly spots. Remember I said I want the poly spots to remain where they were? Can you walk over and get the poly spot and put it back? Go ahead, honey. I want you to put it back where your papers are. Okay, boys and girls, we shouldn't be touching the poly spots right now because they're 12 feet apart. I don't want you to touch those, okay? All right. So we said we need sneakers that tie or Velcro, we need a sweatshirt or a long sleeve shirt, and we need a water bottle, okay? Now, the next order of business is, who here can tell me, and don't shout it out, I want you to raise your hand, if you know what it means to sweat. Do you know?
You need a hat.
No, you don't need a hat. What does it mean for somebody to sweat?
You need an order.
Don't shout out. Okay, when you get hot, water starts to come out of you, doesn't it? Okay? So if you were running around in your backyard for 20 minutes, you're going to get all sweaty, right? Your face is going to get red, you're going to be working really hard, your heart's going to be pumping, so on and so forth. Usually, when you come to PE, we come to PE so that we sweat. This year is going to be different. We're not going to be able to get all sweaty. We used to play games, tag games, and other types of things in here, and we used to do a lot of running where boys and girls could get rid of that extra energy that they had. However, this year, we cannot sweat in PE. So, what that means is this. Instead of running, we're going to be walking. We're going to learn different skills like skipping and hopping and galloping. We'll do some crawling. We'll do lots of different skill work, but we're not going to be allowed to run around. Okay? Whenever we are standing up and we are moving around the room, we're always going to make sure that we have our what on? Our mask on. Okay? So, it's okay if Mr. Loriano tells you you can remove your mask, but if we're standing back up, we always need to put our mask back on. Okay? Does everybody understand that?
Yeah.
Hold that question to the end, okay, bud? All right. Okay. This says, what happens if when we come to PE, we have two classes here? Today, we have two classes here. Okay? So, if we were in here, and we were working on, let's say, tracking the ball. What that means is we would be watching the ball, we would toss the ball in the air, and when we had double class. Make sure those papers are on the floor right now, right? We shouldn't be playing with the papers right now. We should have the papers on the floor. We should be sitting crisscross. Thank you. Okay. Sometimes I might say to Mrs. Reese, Mrs. Reese, today I'm going to start class in here. I'm going to take attendance. We're going to do our warm-up. But then after we do that, I'm going to teach you what activity we're doing for the day. And then you're going to take one of the classes up to the auditorium, and they're going to practice in the auditorium. And she would feed you up there. I think with the group that we have right now, with the numbers that we have, we should be okay to stay in here. But if some of those kids who are right now at home and they're remote learners change their mind and they come back here, we may have too many kids in here at one time to be practicing the skill. So Mrs. Reese might take Miss Schutz's class up to the auditorium to practice. When you are up there, you're going to be doing the exact same thing that the kids who are in the gym are doing, but you're going to be practicing it in a different spot. The other difference is 5 minutes before the end of class, Mrs. Reese is going to stop class up there. She's going to bring that group back to the gymnasium. When you come back to the gym, I'm going to do something that I call closure, okay? Closure is, once I teach you something, I'm going to ask you questions about what I taught you to see if we're remembering and if we're learning the information that we should be learning, okay? Okay, so we talked about double class. Now we're going to talk about tag games. Normally in PE, we love to play tag games. Kids coming in here, we're running around, we're getting rid of that extra energy. This year we said we can't do that. Okay, we can't start off playing tag this year. However, I want you to know that if that changes, and all of a sudden Miss Eisman tells me, Mr. Oriana, your boys and girls are allowed to sweat down in PE. If she tells me that, then we're going to start playing tag and we'll learn some different games. But until then, we can't do that. Hold that question. Okay? You all right? Okay. Boys and girls, I think we're still going to have fun in PE. Yes, we're going to have fun in PE. Boys and girls, you're going to get to know me. I'm going to joke around with you. I'm going to kid around with you. I'm going to ask you questions about what you did last night, or what is something you like to do, or things that you find fun. We're going to get to know each other here in PE. We're going to have a good time in here, but things are just going to look a little bit different than they have in the past. Okay? The great part about it for you boys and girls is you don't know any other difference because any difference because you haven't been here before. So everything will be new to you. Okay. Also, this is something that I forgot to add. If you are wearing a skirt or a dress, please, ladies, make sure we have shorts on underneath there. Because there will be times that we'll be crawling around on the floor and doing things like that. I just want to make sure that you have shorts on underneath your dress. If you decide to wear dress shoes to school that day, I want you to make sure that you put your sneakers in your bag. Okay? All right. All right, here's the next thing. I'm going to give you some PE reminders. Lots of times in PE, boys and girls usually come to PE after they've had lunch. And sometimes when you go to lunch, you are able to take toys to lunch. I don't know what the rule is this year, but in the past they've been able to do that sometimes. I want you to know, please do not bring any stuffed animals or toys to PE. We have tons of equipment that we're going to be able to play with down here that will occupy your attention. I don't want boys and girls bringing other toys down here. It becomes a problem. Somebody sees something that they like and then they want to have it. And then there's an argument, so on and so forth. So if you bring a toy to school, please don't bring it to PE. Okay? Yes. I can't The next time we come into PE, we're going to begin by practicing for fire drills and some other drills that we have to do in school. We'll be practicing, we'll be up and moving around, okay? Today I have to go over this information. It takes a little while. I love your patience though, okay? Miss, you can shut up.